this week's brand new episode of New Start Monday Knits. I'm Louise from Wildflower Wool, and welcome. Oh boy, I've got quite a few things to show you. Hey, I'm not sure if my camera's straight here. I'm just going to give it a quick adjust a little bit. Try to straighten it up a little bit. So I hope everybody has had a great knitting week and had a good week. I'm just going to wait for a couple people to join us live before I get started. But I have got the winning yarn to show you from this week's Instagram poll. These were the two colors. I'll let you know who wins in just a minute. I've got projects from last week's New Start. Hey Lisa, how are you? And the week before's New Start yarn to show you projects from, and the results of my knit along with the Fiber Friends toy knit along that went on for the last 10 days. I think Sabrina just popped in here too. Hey Sabrina. Oh, nope, that was Sherry. Hey Sherry, how are you? Okay, shall we start with the winning yarn? It wasn't even really close this week. There was lots of votes. Hi, Susanna. Lots of votes. Some people said use all of them. Some people said get rid of my main color and just use these two. I was looking for, I want two colors to do a Fair Isle cowl. And stranded color work right now is just making me so happy. So these are, hi Jocelyn and Zakia. These are some skeins of yarn from my stash, desperately trying to make a little bit of a dent in my stash. Hey Catherine, how are you? So Patton's Classic Wool DK Superwash. This color is deep olive. Then we've got, they got real creative with this one, pink. And this one is, yes, apple green. That does look like apple green, doesn't it? So I thought I really wanted to use this color. Hi, Tracy. I really wanted this to be my main color because this is my color more so than these two. So this is my main color, and I put up a poll on Instagram asking which one should go with it. Should it be the light green or should it be the pink? Really, I think, you know, all three would look nice together, or we can't really go wrong with any of the combinations, can we? The winning combination was the light green. So stay tuned next week. Oh, so Jocelyn, you're busy, so you'll be listening. Well, that's good. Carry on with what you're doing and just hang out. So, yeah, no, I think the light green will be nice. It's kind of, yeah, the light green brightens it up a little bit. It almost makes it look like a yellowy green, doesn't it? So I'm excited. I have a stitch pattern picked out. I think the one, I have a couple picked out. It was funny, the Fair Isle pattern that I did 2 weeks ago, I had a really hard time. Remember I told you I had like designer's block? I just couldn't find something that really jumped out at me, something that I really liked. But for this one, this is going to be a cowl. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. It's going to be a cowl, and I have two patterns in mind that I think I would like to do. So I will just do, I'm going to have to swatch for this one, you guys. The last couple projects, I really haven't had to swatch. I've checked my gauge, but I haven't actually done a swatch because I've been using the same yarn and basically the same, you know, stranded stranded knitting, same needle size. So I knew what my gauge was going to be. So I knew I could easily predict what my pattern was going to turn out as. But this is DK. So I'm kind of back to scratch. I mean, I have an idea, a ballpark idea of how many stitches I will need to put on for a cowl, but I am going to have to do a swatch in the round. Hi, Anne. You like both? Oh, you chose the pink. I know, I'm happy. You guys know, these are my colors more so than the pink, so I'm excited to cast this on. So stay tuned. You can check out Instagram, or of course come back next week, next Monday, and this will be a finished project and we'll see what it turns out. Oh, you like all shades of green? I think that was Catherine that popped in. Yeah, I know. I love all shades of green too. And I do really like this. So I'm excited. I'm going to, obviously, I'm going to knit it in the, well, I guess maybe not obviously. Some people may do their cowls. Sherry, Team Pink. Sorry, Team Pink was not the winner this time around. But you know what? I've got lots of this. Like I've got 1, 2, 3, I see 5, at least 5 more balls of this over on my shelf. So it'll make an appearance. It'll get used in something. And I think it would make a really good contrast. I'm not a pink person, but I do sometimes like pink with, like I would never wear this. And just to do a pink cowl, like do a, I don't know, seed stitch cowl or something, I would never wear it. But mix it with yellow or some green, then I would wear pink. Great cactus colors, you were right. And you know what? I didn't get to my cactus this weekend, but even though the Fiber Friends Toy Knit Along has ended as of tonight, and you're right, my mom does love pink. She would wear this, you're right. I may still work on the cactus because that is something that I really do just want to have in my house is a knitted cactus, because I think that would be super cool. So let's talk a little bit about the Fiber Friends Toy Knit Along. I think most of you know that Cheryl and I, well, I'm sure you all know that I also co-host the Fiber Friends podcast with my friend Cheryl from My Needlecrafts. And, oh, Tracy, pink is 1/3 of your wardrobe. Yeah, not mine. I don't have one pink thing in my closet. I can tell you that right now. But that's okay. Pink looks great on other people, and I like it, like I said, for contrast, accent things, yes, but no, not my colors, but that's okay. So anyways, Toy Knit Along. So Fiber Friends, we have been doing some little challenges. We kind of have monthly challenges planned out. We started in April with the socks. May we did the toys. June we're going to do finish it up. We'll probably do kind of like 10 days again, because that worked out well for the toys, I think. So the toy knitting, you guys all know I have said over and over and over again, I am not a toy knitter. Toy knitting was not something that I thought I enjoyed, something that I wanted to do. I had no intention of doing it until Cheryl started showing all of her really cute toys. And then people were commenting on the YouTube videos, and they're like, yeah, I love making toys. They're my funnest, like my favoriteest thing to make. And I'm like, maybe I should rethink this. I can get so easily led. I don't want to say astray, because I wasn't astray, because it was a good thing. So we did the toy knit along. My plan was to have 3 toys knit. I get 2.5 done. And I have a really good excuse why I didn't get the 3rd one done. So if you didn't see this weekend's Fiber Friend podcast, let me show you my first little guy. This is the Guardian of Good Energy elf. Cheryl and I both knit this pattern. This is a Susan Claudino pattern. Isn't he just the cutest thing? I knit him out of Patton's Classic Wool because I have a ton of it, and it was in my stash. It took about, I don't know, 50 grams roughly to do him. I knit him, I thought I knit him on a 3.75 millimeter needle. And I kind of did a combination of, hey Danielle, I know I like her flower button. This was totally Cheryl's idea, putting a little button, and I'm like, oh, I have got the perfect little one to put on. So I did. Anyways, I thought I had 3.75 millimeter needles, and I think that's what I used, because I went fairly tight, because you want to be fairly tight because you don't want your stuffing showing through, right? Anyways, it was really fun. Susan Claudino, she has a great way of joining. You knit the arms and the legs, and then you knit them together with the body. It was it was a really cute little knit. The only thing you had to actually sew on were the ears, and it has this little pocket so you can put something in there. And I have been having her hold my darning needle so I don't lose it. So Cheryl gave me some really good tips when I was knitting, when I was finishing this guy. Hey, Joanne. And probably the biggest one, as being, a new toy knitter, I kind of got knitting his head. And then I realized when I got up here and I finished him off that I had actually forgot to add, like go back and double check to see if I wanted more stuffing in his head. And when I really got looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, I should have stuffed it a little firmer. And Cheryl had this she's like, well, you can add more stuffing in. And just as luck would have it, I had, for some reason, these 2 stitches here. They weren't quite that big, I don't think, when I first found this problem. But anyways, so she had said, you could just kind of try to find a loose stitch, spread your stitches apart, and then poke stuffing in there, and you can add stuffing. And I added quite a bit more stuffing in here to fill out his head. And it worked so easy. Check me a little bit. Has anybody ever tried that? To add stuffing in if it looks like it needs a little bit more. So I would just take a little bit of stuffing. I don't think I can, I don't know if I can do this holding it at the right angle here for you guys to see. But I just put this over the hole and I just took the eye end of the darning needle. Let's see if I can do this. And just started poking it in. And it worked like a charm. I put a lot of stuffing in this guy. I just sat here and it did kind of get meditative. You just kind of poke and you just see how it just kind of keep working it in there. And then all of a sudden you kind of get to a point and then all of a sudden you do a couple more pokes and then it just disappears. Look, see how it's getting smaller? It's like magic. Oh, I do have something else to show you, and it was magic, I tell you. Cheryl had all these fantastic tips. So if you haven't seen the podcast, I think the first half hour we talk about toy knitting. We thought we would have nothing hardly to talk about for the Fiber Friends podcast because all we had done was toy knitting. Okay, see how that's almost disappeared? Another couple of pokes, and look at that. It's gone. It's in there. Just like that. Isn't that the most fantastic? So I was really, when I started knitting this, I thought, oh, I like these 2 holes. I'm going to have to try to just sew them up, right? I just kind of fixed them. I'm so glad I didn't fix them until after I had added in more stuffing. But look, that is just like as slick as anything. And it takes so much stuffing because I pulled out some stuffing and I thought, okay, this surely will fill it up. Well, the clump that I pulled out, I stuck it all in there. And then I took another clump about the same amount and I put it in there too. And I still think it probably could use a little more, but I don't know. He's probably fine. So, and what else did Cheryl talk about? Oh, we talked about the mouth. Because I always find the finishing on toys is what kind of gets me. Because if you don't finish it nicely, it can kind of take away, right? The finishing really plays a big part in how cute it is, I always think. So my first attempt at a mouth was not very good. So I took it off while we were podcasting and Cheryl walked me through how she did hers. And it was slick as anything. So yeah, there's his little mouth. It's not very secure. Like if you're giving this to a kid, you would have to do something different. But for, for me, just having him sit around on a shelf, be totally fine. So I finished Guardian of Good Energy Elf is done. The second toy that I wanted to do over the weekend was the Bunny Nugget pattern by Rebecca Danger. So I got it done too. And has a pom-pom. The elf does not have a pom-pom on him, her. I don't know. I keep calling him him or her. I keep thinking I want to put like a little pom-pom up here or give it a little pom-pom tail. Because, I mean, an elf is a magical creature anyways, right? So it could totally get away with having a pom-pom. And, any toys that I have should have pom-poms because you guys all know how much I love pom-poms. Anyways, so yeah, there's my little bunny nugget. It was so quick and easy. It's a free pattern. The Guardian of Good Energy, if you search for it, it's the initials, Gogee. That's what you search for. And I know, isn't that sweet? Wait till Asa sees this. You guys all know Asa is not a pom-pom lover, but how can she resist this? So anyways, yeah, so the Guardian of Good Energy, it was a paid-for pattern, but totally worth it. It was great. It was a fun. This one here there was really no pattern to it, right? It was cast on, do some increases, knit up part way. Then I think there was a couple, you kind of did a couple decrease rounds, some I-cord, you attached it, and you're done. Was the yarn hard to work? The fuzzy stuff? No, actually it wasn't. So I held it double because remember the pink fuzzy was last week's New Start. Where is that? I think it's still in a project bag. Is it? There it is. Hold on. Oh, can I get it without? It was the Regia Soft Sock Yarn. There, got it. It is, and it was really nice to knit with because I had just knit a pair of socks out of it at one point for my daughter, and it knit up really nice. Because I know, because it's fluffy, right? And it almost has that like boucle kind of look to it. But it wasn't hard to knit with at all. That's what it looked like. So the pattern actually is written for larger yarn. Like they said, you could double worsted weight yarn and just, get some needles that's still going to make a tight fabric. So I ended up doubling it because if I had just done it with the sock yarn, it would have been really, really tiny, which might have been all right. But I wasn't wanting it something that super, super tiny. So of course I went to my classic wool wall and I had this, I think it's powder pink. Yeah, powder pink, which is really, 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 really light pink. And I bought this not with the intention of keeping the powder pink. I know on the screen it looks almost white, doesn't it? But it does have a light pink to it. And I was going to over dye this, but of course I never got around to doing that. So anyways, it was in my stash. So I just held a strand of both of these together and knit the bunny. But it kind of camouflaged the fluffiness of the yarn. Because he just has a little bit. Can you kind of see? Can you see some of the just little, he just has a light fuzz fluffiness to him. Not what I was thinking, but I guess I could double the sock here, maybe. Who knows? I may play around with it because I want 2 more of these little bunnies in different sizes. I think definitely a larger one, and maybe I will do a smaller one, maybe just with the yellow pink fluffy yarn. But anyways, I just envision having a family of 3 that I can set out at Easter time. It's cute. Like this was, an evening kind of knit, an afternoon knit. Does not take long at all. I know. And the pom-pom, that is just 100% the fluffy yarn. Done. And I did that with one of the clover pom-pom makers, one of the smallest ones. It was the bright pink one. Do I have it here? Okay. My gosh, you would almost think I did not know I was going to be doing this tonight. Here it is. I did get home from work like about 15 minutes before I jumped on here, so maybe that I can use that as an excuse for not being totally prepared. But this is the little pom-pom maker that I used, and I wrapped it really. I put as much yarn in here. I probably over wrapped it because that is not very big. But this is the pom-pom maker I used for his little tail. Now, my sad story about my third project, my third toy, was going to be Beans the cat. Yeah, Tracy, you gonna try the cat? Yes, Beans the cat. Is that the one you're talking about? It is super sweet too, isn't it? Well, I have a body here. I have a half of a body. And since I had this pink yarn out, I was like, I'll just carry on. So this is my start of my Beans the cat body. I had it on I had it on a different circular needle, the same one that I used for my Guardian of Good Energy elf. I thought, okay, worsted weight yarn. It worked out great. I will just pick that up, cast on, and knit. And I did up until, I don't know, a few rounds. Can you see? Oh my gosh, I can see it on camera right there. Can you see where I changed needles? Because my needle broke. Look, needle tip broke right in half. So that kind of stopped me literally in my tracks as I was doing the body. I cast on, I did my increases, I did my round and round and round knitting. This is a free pattern as well, so I'm not going to give away any trade secrets here if I chat about it a little bit. And so I was like, dang, what is wrong? Okay, I'm going to check the size of this. This is the one. Remember I said I thought oh, I know, Jocelyn. Yeah, Jocelyn, you said you were going to make a dragon, right? You had a whole bunch lined up. Oh. Okay, so well, here's maybe the problem. So this was a 3.5. You know what? Oh dear. I did a boo-boo. You know what? I never checked the size of this. When I pulled this circular needle out, it was a 40-inch. I pulled this out and it was labeled. It was in the bag that said 3.75, so I just assumed it was. Now that I actually checked the size, it's a 3.5. 3.5. So my problem was, I was assuming this was a 3.75. When this needle broke, I went back to my trusty box of needles and I pulled out some DPNs and I pulled out 3.75s and I started knitting with them and my stitches were way too big on top. And I was like, well, what? I'm like, how is this possible? They're the same size needle, which they now I see are not. And and you could see a difference in the stitch size, and it drove me bonkers. So I unknit like the 3 rounds that I did, and I thought, okay, well, whatever, I'll go smaller. So this is a 3.25. Like right in the middle of what I need. Obviously makes total sense why my stitches. But can you, like, look, as soon as I pick it up, I can see. Now there is a decrease row here, so that's why it does kind of look like there's puckers. It's because those are knit twos together around. But anyways, the top part was bugging me, so I just thought I had to wait. And now I know I need to find a 3.5. So Beans the cat is almost done. Maybe I'll get it done tonight before I go to bed, just so I can say I have met my goal of getting 3 stuffed animals done. But have you guys seen Beans the cat? It is super cute. Cheryl said she knit hers like in 2 or 3 hours. Again, it's an evening project. It's a free pattern, super cute. Actually, I think the pattern might be for DK, but I mean, DK worsted, whatever, right? It'll just be a little bigger, a little smaller. Just adjust your needle size or plan your needle size out better than I did. Let's just say that. But anyways, look on Instagram because you'll see Beans the cat done in the next day or two. I'll have to post a picture of her. So that was my toy knitting. So guys, I think I am a toy knitter now. I thoroughly loved knitting it. Like all the toys. Oh, so Anne, you just finished Beans and you posted it on the Facebook group. Awesome. I know, it is so cute. I think they would make like great little Christmas gifts. I have got the grand plans to do, I want to do some kind of big charity knitting something here locally. And a couple of people have said, you know what, either the bunnies or Beans the cat would be a great little thing to tuck in, you know, if things are going to like a women's shelter, any place where there's some kids, right? Or thinking of like the angel tree, or I'm not sure what you guys call it in your communities, right? But where there's, when they collect gifts, do toy drives and things for kids at Christmas time. I think these would be cute, right? I think it would be fun. I think I have totally gone one end to the other. A month ago, if you had talked about toy knitting, or like every time Imagine Landscapes does a mystery gnome knit along, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But yeah, no, I don't do toys. And now, so I guess there you go. I mean, don't knock it till you try it. I mean, I have knit toys in the past, but maybe it's, you know, my taste has changed, or who knows? Maybe now, I don't know. Maybe I'm a more patient knitter, or maybe these patterns were just not as fiddly as what I had knit in the past. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, all I know is that I really like this. And now I feel like a whole like brand new knitting door has opened, and there's all these fun toy patterns now that I think I need to knit. Lisa, I know, never say never. And you know what? Normally I don't, except when it came to toy knitting. I had it in my head that, yep, toys, nope, not doing it, don't like it. Everybody else can have fun. I'm not doing it. Well, now I do like it. So that is that. Let's move on from toy knitting. Let's go into hat knitting. So 2 weeks ago, my New Start Monday was, I don't think I showed this. Did I show this to you guys? I don't know if I did or not. I'll show it to you again because I don't think I showed it to you. I don't think I had it finished. Did I have it started? I had it started last week though, didn't I? I think I was just up so far. Anyways, this is the hat that I did 2 weeks ago. And I like it. This was the one that I was really stuck on. I was really having a hard time. Can you see? I know I'm close to the camera. I have to be really close to the camera so I can see you guys' comments. So it makes it a little harder. But there is the hat. Makes it a little harder to model knitwear when you're right up front and center in the camera. But there it is. Oh, I really like this. You know, that was the craziest thing. I had the hardest time. I was like sketching and looking through pattern books and charts, and nothing was speaking to me. I had this gray and the purple, and nothing was jumping out until I always love chevrons. And you know what? And you know where I got it? I was sitting right here contemplating what I was going to do. And can I pull this without knocking things over? My Lopi sweater. That is, whew, there, you can see it right there on the mannequin sitting here beside me. That right there, here. Which way do I need to go? This way. Everything's backwards. But I looked at this stitch pattern and I'm like, okay, I put this into my Lopi sweater and I really liked it. So that's what is on the hat. So maybe it's like one of those things, right? Just stick with what you like. I liked putting it into the sweater, so I just repeated it on the hat and really, really liked it. This was a gauge to garment hat again. I knew my gauge from the pot holder, and I just used that. I knew I wanted my finished hat to be 2 inches less than my circumference of my head, and there it is. So that is that. So is there anything else? This might be, oh, I have one more thing, my summer top. Jocelyn, if Jocelyn is still here, I've been working on my summer top quite a bit because Thursday night, Jocelyn and I will be back here at 7:30 Eastern time, and we're going to go over our May. Gotta think about which month it is. So this is May 31st. So yes, Thursday is the first Thursday in June. Is that not hard to believe? So we're gonna reveal our projects and see whether or not we got them finished. Jocelyn has a really good well, I mean, not that we need an excuse, because you know what, it's knitting, it's fun, it's a hobby. It's not like no anybody's gonna freeze to death if we don't have our tops done, right? And so whatever we get done, and it's all good knitting, you know, whatever we have done. Jocelyn is still here, so we'll see. Last month we did not meet our goal, either one of us. We both fell short, but we still got tons of knitting done, so it was still a huge win. We both said we were going to have sweaters done for Thursday. So you can join us Thursday and see if that happened. Now, Jocelyn is in the middle of renovating and packing and moving and whatever. So if she does not have her top done, I won't be surprised. So Jocelyn, don't stay up till like wee hours in the morning trying to squeeze it in. And so I don't know. It'll just be another fun knitting night. We will get together and chit chat. Sherry, the yellow yarn pecan from beside the purple is really pretty. It is. It's this one right here, isn't it? Let's pull it out and let's see what. Ooh. Tosh Merino Light. Mad Tosh, yes. It is a pretty one. Oh, it's an original. Yeah, I know. Isn't that? Look at those speckles. Oh, yeah. I wonder what I should make out of that. 100% merino wool, so it's not going to be socks, that's for sure. But that's pretty. I know. Good eye. I know. Isn't that pretty? It looks nice with the purple too, doesn't it? Oh, so what has everybody else been working on? I can't show you my top. And I think that's really it, because it has been all toy knitting this last week. 10 days of toy knitting. That has been my most excitement. I've been working on the top. I know as a kid, it is really pretty, isn't it? That yellow is gorgeous. Huh. Maybe a hat? Maybe that could be one of my new start Mondays in the next couple of weeks. And you guys can give me some suggestions on what it should be. We'll have to think about that. So I'm going to finish up my Beans the cat so I can get him done. And then I do want to do a cactus at some point too. Oh, Lisa, you're swatching? What is that for the... What is that? The Montrealer? Is that a sweater? Must be if you're swatching. That sounds exciting. What color are you doing it in? I know, I'm going to have to swatch, and I'm actually excited because you guys know I like swatching. Oh, Danielle, night shift shawl with yarn in your stash. Isn't that's like a bonus, right? You get to knit the fun pattern, plus you get to use this beautiful yarn that we have all bought, and then we stick it into our stash, sometimes never to be seen for a really long time. Oh, Zakia, only brain space for socks. Oh, hoping you'll get knitting done in June. Well, that's okay. Socks is like fantastic, right? Oh, Zakia, you've been spinning too? Oh, Lisa, a hoodie for your son. Dark gray with light gray stripe. Fantastic. Is anybody working on any blankets A few people Friday night were talking about they were going from toy knitting to blanket knitting, which I thought was funny because it's like little tiny toys to super huge big blankets. You can't get much bigger of a project than a blanket, right? But, oh, I wish I had some needles. I'm excited to cast this on and play around. So like I said, I've got 2 stitch patterns that I'm hoping to pick one with. Wanda, you've got a blanket on the needles? Oh, that's right, Donna. You were one of the ones. Yes, your crocheted your rainbow ripple blanket. I have I have plans for a blanket to start in January. I don't think I'm going to start one before then because it is like summer, it's going to be hot, and then right shortly after that is Christmas knitting. I know, I can't believe I'm already starting to think about Christmas stuff already, and it's not even quite June. But I am all about trying to be prepared this year because I'm really, really, really hoping that we will actually be able to get together for Christmas. And I want to do a ton more pot holders to go in my Christmas basket for everybody is my plan. Tracy, you just finished a shawl for your daughter. Now you're working on a double layer hat. Ooh, like a double knit hat? Oh, that's fantastic. So have you given the shawl to your daughter or is it being tucked away? Is it a Christmas present? Are you thinking about Christmas already? I'm going to see if I can find the end. All right, let's see if my trick works. My trick. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop calling it a trick because this works almost every time. Almost every time, and now it's probably not going to. Oh. Well, not too bad. Not too bad. But what do I have? I've got my outside tail is tucked in here. So not too bad. I'm going to wrap this up and Donna, what was that? I got to go back and read Donna's comment here. You opened a bin and it looked like someone barfed a rainbow. So you were inspired. Okay, I don't know if that's what you should be inspired by or not, but I guess people get their inspiration from anywhere, don't they? Oh, Tracy, both are for Christmas. Oh my gosh. So what you're saying then is I'm behind already. Good for you. I am so glad that you are on track. I walked into somebody's house today at work and they had the W channel on watching a movie this morning. And all I could think is I just associate the W channel with Christmas movies. Maybe that's what's got me thinking about Christmas. The W channel. Yeah. Christmas movies. Anyways, okay, so I've got my end set up here and the green. Okay, let's see how I do. So you guys know what I'm doing, right? So you just take a finger on in either end of the ball and twirl it. And it's kind of just, you know that big, like usually all that big clump of yarn that will pull out? By twirling your fingers inside, it just kind of separates that till you find a loop. And I don't know, it's like guessing. You just kind of find a strand. Oh, this one's not, oh, this one didn't. Oh, this one really didn't do it. What did I? Anyways, forget I showed you this one. Where's my outside? Normally this does not happen. This is my, what do I want to say? My one in whatever. Every once in a while it doesn't work and you still get a clump. But 9 times out of 10, you just get a tiny little bit of yarn or you even find the strand that has the end. So it's worth doing. And plus it's kind of fun. It's like a challenge. It's like, will it work this time or will it won't? And if it doesn't, well, you know farther ahead than you would have been beforehand, right? Oh, exactly. Speaking of barf, that's right. Maybe that's it. We tempted the knitting gods here, didn't we, Donna, just by talking about it. That's all right. I'll just wind it up. Find my end in here somewhere. But Yeah, so I'm excited. So do you guys, so I was gonna say, who has a project that they're super excited for? But I'm guessing everybody who's already posted their projects, you're excited for, right? Yeah, I can't wait. I am just color work. So what is your favorite like technique that you're doing right now or project? Like, are you all about just stuff it back in? Could, well, you could. There you go. I just wound it up. And there's my end. The tail I was looking for. There it is. I am right now, color work, like Fair Isle. I shouldn't say color work because that kind of encompasses a broad range of techniques, but stranded knitting, oh, you're excited to knit the swallowtail sweater. I haven't seen that one. What is it? Is it color work or what techniques does it have? Because right now I am all about stranded knitting or Fair Isle, whichever term you want to use. Oh, slip stitch patterns, Danielle. You know what? That may be next. Well, I don't know. I thought about this. I thought about doing a mosaic project with these two colors. And then I decided, no, I just want to carry on with the Fair Isle. So I'm going to for right now. Oh, it's color work. Oh, and sort of color blocked. Oh, that's fun. I know. I always kind of go in spurts, right? Where it'll be all socks for a little bit, and then it'll be sweater knitting for a bit, then it'll be Fair Isle, and then maybe it'll be lace. And it's kind of like all or nothing, right? Cowls back in the beginning of January, it was all on about cowls. So I thought that's why I wanted this week to go back. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and revisit my cowl. And because I was like trying to find the perfect size, right? The circumference around and the height. So I'm going to go back and revisit the notes that I wrote out that I had done using my gauge to garment to kind of find that perfect size. And I'm going to reknit it again with DK weight to see how it turns out. That's going to be my little project for this week. And once I get past Thursday, with the reveal of my summer top. Because you know what? I actually said something, and I'm not sure where I mentioned it, but I had said that one of my goals, my New Year's goal, was to always have a sweater on the needles. What's this? Oh, Jocelyn's just saying that there's been so many sweaters on your needles, knitted sweaters, you've got the urge to make some crochet cardigans and tops. Well, there you go. That'd be fun. So, and for some reason, I wasn't considering my orange summer top to be a sweater. Isn't that kind of crazy? I guess because, I don't know, it was cotton, it's not winter, it has no sleeves. That I was kind of just totally not even thinking about it because I thought, oh my gosh, I have not broken one of my rules. That's not the terms I want to say. Because what I had wanted to do was to say I always had a sweater on the needles, and that kind of the idea more so than just being on the needles was like every week I would work a little bit on it, right? As I was doing other projects, my New Start Mondays, that I was always have a sweater on the go that I could pick it up and I could knit half an hour on it here or there and be working on it. And some point wherever I was chatting with you guys, I said, boy, I haven't done that. I have a sweater on the needles because I was thinking about the one that I started. I think I started it last October, and I had that grand plan I was going to get it knit in 2 weeks. Remember that one? I went out and bought the book. It was top down sweaters knit in 4 weeks. 4 weeks? Maybe I was gonna knit, I don't know, I can't remember now. I think maybe it was 4 weeks, I don't know. Anyways, it didn't. I got stuck on the sleeves because when it was a cardigan, oh my gosh, I can't even think. It was a cardigan and I had it on a super long needle, so I was going back and forth, knitting flat. And then when I got to the sleeves, they were done in the round, and I have to find different needle size. because of course my gauge is different in the round than it is flat. And that stopped me in my tracks because there again, that meant I had to think, I had to go look for needles. It wasn't just handy that I could just pick it up and knit it. So it has just been sitting. And so that's what I was kind of thinking about, thinking, oh, it's sitting there, but I haven't been working on it. But I have been working on this. So I'm not going to show you any more than this. So this is the summer top. And with a random DPN stuck in the bag. That's funny. Where did it go? Anyway, oh. Maybe these were stuck from my toy, the ones that weren't the right size. Maybe they just got tucked in here. Anyways, there's only 3 of them. Not sure. But this does count, which kind of makes me feel better knowing that, hey, I have been working on a sweater all this time, just not a winter one. Kind of funny. That's kind of like that toy knitting, right? How I decided I wasn't a toy knitter. And here I am in my head just thinking that a summer top doesn't count as a sweater when it totally does. Oh, okay, Donna, I will. Hey, Antoinette, how are you? Happy Monday. I hope your day has started off well. Mine has gone really well. It's been good. And now I'm excited just to sit and do some swatching. So, okay, I think that is pretty much all that I have to chat. This is kind of a short one tonight. We'll say we'll carry on for maybe 5 more minutes if anybody else wants to type in what they're working on, or do you have something new you're going to start? Is anybody close to getting anything finished? Antoinette is making socks. Hey, Valerie, sweater knitting. Oh, sweater knitting is your happy place. See, and you know what? It really is mine too. I don't know. Okay. I think all knitting is my happy place, but I know I do really like sweater knitting too. Yes. Well, I'm excited. I still feel like I have part of the evening still ahead of me and can get a little bit more knitting done. Maybe I'll revisit. Okay, I do have a question before we go, you guys. Now, oh, I think I just answered my own question. Excuse me. Oh, you like the hat? Thanks. It's actually quite comfy. I do like this. So my plan was until, hey, Sue, how are you? Working, oh, sister's cardigan still. Good. Are you making good progress? Or are you just kind of plugging along? I guess good progress is kind of subjective, right? As long as you're moving in the right direction and not having to frog, I guess it's called good progress, right? Okay, now that I figured out my needle size problem, I guess I fixed I have solved my problem. If I find the right needle size, I think I'll just take back these couple of rows, 3, what do I have, about 3 rows, and carry on. I was just going to pull it all out and start again. Find one needle that is not going to break and just restart it. But you know what? I think I'll just take out those 3 rows and carry on, which will make it even super faster than starting over. Look at, thanks for listening, guys. Sometimes I just have to talk it out loud to figure out what I'm going to do. Oh, Jocelyn, your last showing is done. Oh, yes, dinner for you. Yeah, don't forget that. Yeah, you must be starving since lunch. Uh-oh, Valerie, you had to rip 36 rows on a fingering. Oh, no. That is a lot. That is a lot. Oh, shoot. That's a little disheartening, but oh well, sometimes you just got to do it, right? You just got to, okay, look, I'm going to do it right now. You just got to bite the bullet. Nah, maybe I'll just take it back. Nah, I don't think it matters. Yeah, you just got to bite the bullet, don't you, sometimes, and just pull the needles out. I was going to tink back 3 rows, but that'll take a long time, so I don't think I will. Got to get rid of this needle and find the right needle size. And then I will be back in business. But yeah, oh boy, 36 rows on a fingering weight sweater. Oy. I always say, I try to be positive and say knitting is knitting. You know, you just get the fun of re-knitting it. But in that moment, when you realize that you have to pull up that many rows, it is kind of sad, isn't it? There. But see, okay, I know it's only a little stuffed toy and I'm only pulling out a couple of rows. It's not quite the same thing, Valerie, but um yeah. Well, hopefully, now that you got it ripped out, ripping it out is kind of the hard part, right? Once you get that done, you get back on track. Yeah, so it wouldn't have fit you if you hadn't pulled it back. So yeah, so you don't have much choice, right? And we're always going to be knitting anyways. So really, if you're re-knitting a section, you just consider it knitting, right? What needle size am I using? Well, Antoinette, that was the question of the night. I thought I started, this was my little Beans the cat toy that I started. And I thought I was started him with a 3.75. My needle broke, which I don't know if I told you. It was not, it was a really kind of crappy needle. It was one of the, and it was a Knit Picks needle, and it was acrylic. I think they call them acrylic tip needles, like they were like a plastic, and they were an interchangeable set that they probably sold, I don't know, somewhere like around 8 or 10 years ago. They didn't sell them very long, and probably for good reason, because they break. So this is not the first needle tip that I have broken, just regular knitting, and I'm like a fairly loose knitter too. It's not, and my stitches, I know I'm knitting smaller needle size on a worsted weight yarn, but my stitches aren't that tight. Anyways, obviously they were tight enough, and it just went to knit a stitch and it snapped. And that they were like, they were flexible, like they did bend, and just snapped right in the middle of the needle tip. So then, and I had just pulled out of a bag. I had them all sorted by needle size, and it was in a 3.75, which ironically is super funny because I wanted a 3.5 to start with. I couldn't find a 3.5. I found what I thought was a 3.75. And I used it. And when it broke, I grabbed some 3.75 DPNs and I started knitting, and you could tell the stitch size was different, and it bugged me, which again is really funny because I'm a pretty relaxed kind of like, oh, it's just a toy, it's just for me, but it drove me bonkers. So I thought, okay, well, maybe those acrylics, I don't know. I was blaming it on the kind of that Knit Picks needle. I thought, okay, well, wait, it's a 3.75. Realizing, not thinking I didn't actually check the size. I was just going by the label on the bag. I obviously put it in the wrong bag because I took my little broken needle tip that I had here and I just checked it with the needle sizer, and it was a 3.5. So anyway, so that's why my 3.75 DPNs made bigger stitches, because they were bigger needles. This guy here, I think, is a clover needle, the bamboo one. And I went down to a 3.25, and the stitches were too small. It's like, it sounds like Goldilocks and the Three Bears right here. It's like, one is too small, one is too big. Which one is just right? So now I'm going to have to go through search here, either for magic loop or like a long circular or some DPNs in a 3.5 and finish this little kitten. This should have been a quick knit. Aren't you sorry now that you asked about the needles, Antoinette? I know that was a big, long story for something really quite silly. But anyways, I'm going to have a really cute cat when the time it's all done to go with my little collection of toys. So if you did take part in the Fiber Friends knit along or make along, because crocheting counts as well, tomorrow morning I will close the thread. So you've got till tonight, as late as you want to stay up or whatever, you know, whatever time it is for you where you are, you still have time. You can post your finish, you can post your work in progress over in the Ravelry thread. And if there's anybody who doesn't use Ravelry, post it in the Fiber Friends Facebook group. Tag me and say something like, hey, I don't use Ravelry. Can you still add me? This is my entry for the knit along, the make along. And make sure I answer you back, and then I will add you into the draw that we're going to do on Friday. Cheryl and I will do the draw, well, kind of live. It'll be live. We'll do it on the podcast as we're recording, and then you guys will see it on Saturday. So we've got 3 prizes to give away. There is a bag, and there are 2 patterns to be given away. So it's going to be lots of fun. So I think that is it for us tonight. Jocelyn, I see you're heading out to get some supper, so I will see you Thursday night, and we will get to chit chat about our knitting progress then. I cannot wait. So everybody, I hope you have had a great week. To Yeah, just a great start to your week. It is Monday. I always look at Mondays as a brand new start. It's like a clean slate kind of thing, right? You can make the whole week whatever you want it to be. So I hope your week has been fantastic. I hope you get lots of knitting done, whatever you're working on, whether you're starting something, you're finishing something, or you're in the middle of a big project. I hope you get lots of knitting time, and fingers crossed, Valerie, no more ripping out. Hopefully you are back on track and everybody else has good luck too. And oh, Susanna's saying she has a kit to make Roxy the hippo. That would be so sweet. Well, good. Happy knitting, everybody. And if you're around Thursday, join Jocelyn and I here, and we can all catch up again Thursday, see how your week's gone, how much knitting progress you've got. And otherwise, I will be back here next Monday. Fingers crossed, this will turn into a cowl, and my poor beans, the kitty, will be done. That's my plan. So thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out with me tonight. Happy knitting, and I will see you either Thursday or Monday. Bye, guys.